Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Yes, so I'm more alive today. As you can see by the title of the video. What was my last video?
Review.
Yeah, my last video was a review for my 2-year-old, and as I said in that video, I wanted to actually do this video I'm doing now, but she wouldn't let me. And today too, she wanted to be here, but I had to be strong. So today I want to talk about my labor and delivery story for the second time. Yes, guys. So where do I begin? Where do I begin? So basically, I went to full term all right, everything was all right, and then just like with my daughter, um, near the end, when they are full term, they just start acting up, these children. So my daughter, when she was full term, the movements were reducing and all this, so I went to the hospital, so that I ended up being induced. Same with my son. Yeah, so his movements were reducing, so we um, we rang up the maternity assessment center, and then I went in, obviously, and then they were like, yeah, obviously the baby was all right, but obviously the movements were less. So I went back again, and then they were like, no, they can't take any chances, so they have to induce me instead of me waiting for labor to come. And this time around, I didn't want to be induced because I heard that the pain of being induced is a lot more than if you let things happen naturally. So this time I really wanted everything to just happen, not naturally but supernaturally. So I really believe that I had a supernatural childbirth. If you don't know about that, there's this book by Jackie Mize, Jackie Mize, called Supernatural Childbirth. So I bought that book when I was actually pregnant with my daughter, but I didn't build up my faith to that level. But other things that happened in a labor is exactly what I asked God for. But I didn't truly believe for no pain at all. Maybe that's why I experienced pain. But for my son, I truly believed. I was reading the book, I was, using the book and everything. And then I was watching like videos here on YouTube of people who have had supernatural childbirth, and that was just building up my faith. So I was believing that's what I was gonna have. So when I was told that I have to be induced, I was like, oh my days. That kind of like broke me a little bit, but not really, because all you want really is for your child to be healthy. So I went in the hospital. I went with my friend because we have obviously I have a daughter, so we didn't have anyone to live her with. So my husband had to stay with my daughter. So I went with one of my friends. To the labor ward. So she came in early in the morning. This was on a Monday, yeah, early in the morning. So because I was told to ring like at 8 in the morning, and then they would tell me when to come in. So I just told her to come in anyway, so she's already with me. So when she came in, I rang them, then they were like, yeah, I should just come in now. So I had something to eat, obviously, and prepared and everything, and then we went. Then I said bye to my husband and everything. I was a little bit nervous because I've never spent the night away from my daughter, so in my heart I was just like, oh my days, but obviously she's in safe hands. She's with her dad, her best friend. I bet she was happy that mommy's not here. So we went there, we got in, whatever, me and my friend, and then they have to monitor me. They had to monitor me for like I think 30 minutes or so to check the baby or whatever, and then they monitored me. Um, yeah, they monitored me and everything, and then they were now waiting for the prescription to come through for what did they use again? They used the gel. Yeah, they used the gel. They used the gel to induce me. So they were checking to see if I was dilated, and I was just 1 centimeter, and then I was like, was it 2 centimeter effaced? Yeah. So things were moving a bit slow. And then so when they put the gel in you, they have to monitor you for like, I think 30 minutes or 45 minutes to check how's the baby coping. And since I'd already reported twice, the reason why I was being induced is because of less movement. So they have to check that the baby is alright and I'm alright. So when they were doing that, so before that, when she put it in, she's like, oh, you can go around and have a walk, you know, that encourages labor. And I was really excited. And I don't know, but this time around I wasn't scared. I wasn't scared actually, because with her, when they put the pessary in me, oh my days, like it just worked so quick. So I thought it would be the same, and I was like, God, please, I don't want to feel no pain. God, don't do this to me. And yeah, truly I didn't feel pain, but obviously the baby was the movements were going low, going high, going low. So they were like, no, we have to take you to the delivery suite now, even though I'm not in active labor, but they have to take me so that I can be monitored more closely there. So yeah, so we went to the labor and delivery. This was on Monday. Yeah, we went there and then they were checking me there. I think I was effacing more than I was dilating, so the baby like didn't want to come. So that was same with my daughter. She didn't want to come, but she was acting up, like the heartbeat would be going low and all this. I'm like, come on, just show yourself. And this was Monday the 17th of December. I was like, I don't think this baby is coming today. I think this baby is coming tomorrow. Yeah, because with my daughter, I was induced on a Thursday, which was 17th of November, and then I ended up giving birth on the 18th because I had an epidural, so I think that slowed things down. Yeah, so we went there, they checked me, blah, 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 and then they were like, I can't move around. So now I was restricted to the bed. Can you imagine? I was so excited that I'm gonna walk around, but I was restricted to the bed. I couldn't go nowhere. And then they wanted to yeah, and then they wanted to yeah, so I was restricted to the bed. Then they were telling me that if the contractions, because the contractions like one before the contractions. So they were like, okay, they need to break my water. At this point, no, I was still moving about a little bit. If I needed the toilet, they would allow me to go to the toilet. So I kept on going to the toilet because I was drinking water like crazy. I loved water and I was always spitting. So they told me they have to break my water, so they have to check where I am. And I think it was about, was it 2 centimeters? Like it was really being so slow. And then so all this time here, when people were like checking me, even I got a sweep done before, when people were like checking me, I didn't feel no pain. It was just uncomfortable, yeah. But this time around, I don't know like if she was confused. I don't know if maybe her fingers were shorter, so she had to, jeez. So that was the first time I felt pain. I can't even describe it. So she was checking me and everything, and then I was like, no. So I had to close my eyes and just breathe in. But at some point, the breathing techniques were not working because she was really not. She couldn't get to where she was getting, I think. So that was causing so much pain, and so we took a break or whatever. And now I was crying. I teared up. That was my first time. Now I was crying. I proper teared up because they wanted to check before they can to see if it's working. Do they have to put another gel, or do they have to break my waters to get things going? So I cried. My friend was just there, like she didn't know what to do. You could tell in her eyes she didn't know what to do. It was so painful. So now they had to call a consultant to come in. They called a consultant to come in, and then the consultant, what's it called? She knew what she was doing there. Like obviously she's a consultant. She was so quick about it. But they told me to use gas and air to just forget about the pain or whatever. So I took the gas and air, and then while she was going in, I'm like, 1 minute, and then she went in to try and do they were trying to do the stretch and sweep and to break the water at the same time. So she went in. Oh my days, it was quick, but it was, so I was taking the gas and and then I just took it in like like a crazy person, yeah, and I closed my eyes at this point. I'm like, God. And then she just did it. I don't know. Then that's when the episode started. So when I mean episode, I mean in the labor with my son, I nearly died like 3 times. And I actually saw my spirit leave myself, and I could see people there. So this is what happened. This was the first time. I was just going, I couldn't even talk to say what I wanted to say. So they were like, look, are you alright? You alright? You alright? And I'm like, they're like, okay, try and breathe in, try and breathe in. Then I just saw my spirit go, and you can hear people talk, and you can hear them from far. And my friend is just next to me like, Patricia, Patricia. She was doing Patty, Patty. She calls me Patty. And I was just like, I was just going. And at this point, you know that no human being can save you. You know that it's in God that you have to put your trust. So I just cried to God. No, I just whispered or whatever, don't know. And I just said, God, please, no, I can't go now. I have a family at home. This child is coming, you know. And then my spirit came back in my body. Then I was able to respond. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Then they were like, oh, maybe it was the gas in there. It can cause people to do that, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. Then I remember I was telling my friend, I'm like, I whispered to her, I don't know if she heard me, because during the labor, I could say I was here on this earth, but I wasn't. I was just lingering around somewhere. So some things I was saying was not making sense, and yeah, I just wasn't there. So whenever my husband would call, I would ask my friend to pick up the phone or talk. I couldn't even talk. I couldn't reason properly. Up to this day, I don't know how to describe what was actually happening. So that happened, and then they broke my water. It wasn't a lot that came. It was just trickling. And then obviously they said no, things were still going a little bit slower, I think, than they wanted. And I think the baby was getting a bit stressed, so they always had to tell me to lie on my side or whatever. So they said they needed to put the drip that encourages what's it called, that triggers contractions, that can trigger things, that can cause things to happen. So I've heard about this drip. Like, I'm naturally somebody who likes to research anyway. So I knew about this drip, and people are always saying this is the killer. Like, this drip is painful because they're artificially bringing on contractions, just like inducing. It brings on labor, right, when your body maybe wasn't ready to do it yet. So I was like before you do that, give me epidural. They're like, are you sure? Because this time I didn't want an epidural, but I was like, I remember with her the pain, that ridiculous pain I felt. So I was like, no, give me the epidural. So I kept on saying it, give me that epidural, give me that epidural. So it's like everyone knew. Then there's one point, I don't know what happened. Did I have another episode? I'm just trying to collect everything. So there was like a lot of consultants that came into the room, doctors, whatever. I was just like, I was a little bit scared. So one of them spoke to us, and then I told them I need the epidural. That's where the what's it called? Oh God, I can't say the name. The person that gives the epidural, I don't want to say the name because I can't say it. Yeah. So the person that gives the epidural was also there. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna come back in and talk to you about the risk and everything, see if you want to do it, and then we'll get the ball rolling, because they really wanted to give me this drip. And even though I was in no pain, which I think was something so supernatural, the only pain I felt was that sweeping. So I think it was supernatural, because even though I wasn't dilating as quickly, I was effacing, so I should have been able to feel pain. So that's what I'm saying. I believe God gave me that supernatural labor anyway, and I believe that if I didn't get the epidural, I'll still be alright. So he came back in, he talked to me about the risk and what can happen and how I shouldn't move, etc. I already knew this from my daughter, so I'm like, yeah, that's cool, I want it. I was like, I want it before that. So they came back in to give me the epidural, and they asked my friend to go and wait outside. And then I was just there, like, you have to lean over, isn't it? And then you don't have to move, like, because it's quite dangerous. You can actually become paralyzed because they are numbing your spine or whatever, so that down here you don't feel nothing. So so they did that. I didn't move. They were trying to talk to me. I didn't answer until they finished. So I didn't move, and then obviously the epidural was now in, and then so I had to, now I can't go nowhere, and now I can't move anymore. It's not that I could anyway before. So they were monitoring the baby, and then so they kept on telling me to lie on my side. So I had to lie on this left side. So that's where most of the epidural went. Because when I recovered, like, this leg took a bit longer because all the epidural went that way. So there's a point where I think, because the way I was sitting down, the way I was lying down, so I was feeling something here. They kept on doing a test to me, like they would get an ice cube and they put it around me to tell me if I feel any pain. They wanted to know if the epidural is working, and I didn't feel it, so that means it was working. But at some point there was where I could feel it, and I told them, like, I need a top up, because now the drip was in. So I was like, I need a top up of the epidural. And then when the drip is in, you're not allowed to eat. Yeah, so I'd already eaten before, but you're not allowed to eat until everything is done now. Yeah, so you're only allowed to drink water. So I think it was just the feeling of being uncomfortable, you know, when you've been in one position for a long time. So I was feeling it on this other side, I think, where the epidural wasn't. So the person who does the epidural came back in, gave me a top up, and then I think a few moments after that, maybe not a few moments, a little bit after that, I started feeling so hot. Another episode again. I was feeling so hot. I wanted to remove all my clothes. They were like, no, keep your clothes on. I was like, no, I don't care. I was like, I don't know what hell feels like I was so hot. I couldn't handle it. And then I started going again. They were like, what's going on? They didn't know what to do. So they were now trying to bring water. Is it water? I don't know, some liquid that they gave me some liquid through a drip. They gave me something else. Then the consultants came back in again, and then everyone was just trying to get me to come back. Then I saw myself come back again, and then it was fine. So I think I was a bit dehydrated or something, and then I was fine. And then they kept on checking. Yeah, so I started throwing up. So I knew that things were moving along, because with my daughter, when I think when I was going through transition or whatever, I always throw up, and when I'm in labor, that's when I throw up. Throughout all my whole pregnancy, I never throw up. I'm just, yeah, it's a blessing. I don't experience morning sickness when I'm pregnant. Only in labor that I experience morning sickness. So but they were telling me, oh, it's a good sign, it shows that the baby's about to come. So the lady checked, she was about to go off her shift. She wanted to be the one that delivered the baby, but she had to go. So she checked, and she's like, wow, you are 9. I think she had checked me first, and I was like 4 centimeters. Yeah, because they wanted to put to monitor the baby. The baby, they couldn't really pick up the heartbeat on those monitors they put on you any longer. I don't know what he was doing in the belly, so they had to put something on his head inside. So to do that, she had to check me again. So I was like 4 centimeters, and then when she checked me, I think about 30 minutes later, for her to put the little monitor on his head to monitor his heartbeat, I was like 9. So it's like I transitioned so quickly. So that's why I was throwing up. That's why they said I was feeling that way or whatever. So now you were 9 centimeters, and she had to go. Then another lady came in. Yeah, another lady came in to take over, and then I was ready to push. I think around 9. I was ready to push around 9 in the morning. This was the next day. I was ready to push around 9 in the morning, and I think I only slept a little bit. And mind you, I had been in in labor since the day before. I'd actually been in labor for quite a while before that, but it wasn't obviously established labor. Yeah. So yeah, where was I? My daughter is making me lose my train of thought. So yeah, I was ready to push around 9 in the morning. So they were like, oh, I'm 10 centimeters, I'm ready. I was like, oh. I started crying. I was just emotional because I was tired. I was hungry. I wanted to be home. And then yeah, and then oh sorry, before that I had another episode when my friend came out, and then when she came back in as well, I had another episode. And then I remember, I don't know what I was saying, I don't know if I was making sense, but I remember the midwife, before she left, she was like, stay with us, don't close your eyes. You know how they talk to people when they're dying, like, don't close your eyes, stay with us. She was doing that to me, doing this to my eyes, and I was just like, I don't even know what I was saying to her, to be honest. But the next minute I remember I woke up, so I think I ended up just going anywhere. But glory to God, I didn't die. My friend was like, oh my days, that was the most traumatic thing for her to experience. It was a lot. So anyways, around 9 in the morning, I was ready to push. They told me I'm 10 centimeters finally, and then I just started crying like, oh, finally, oh God. I was so happy. Yeah. And then, but they said that we'll wait we'll wait about an hour. Was it around 9 or 10? I think around nearly 10. So we'll wait an hour or two for the baby to just calm down. And that's what they did with my daughter as well. Yeah, so we waited, and then now she was like, it's time, ready to push. And she was all by herself, and I was ready. She just told me, just push, just imagine you are doing a big poo, and just push. And you know, I was tired and everything, and because of the epidural, I can't really move my legs, and I can't really feel that much. Then I started feeling, but it wasn't pain. So I was trying my best, but my friend was telling me they could see the baby, so the baby will go back in, you know. And I'm just like, oh Lord. So I was getting a bit frustrated. Then thank God there's this other midwife, or I don't think she's a midwife, yeah, she came in at the right time, because I think it was nearly about to be an hour, and if you push for more than an hour, and I saw one consultant peeping back in, is the baby here yet? So I was like, this one, if I don't take care, like my daughter, they ended up cutting me and using forceps. I'm like, it's either they will try and intervene or C-section. I was like, I'm not having that. No, on my watch. So the lady came in, told me how to push, she proper grabbed my legs with my friend, told me to also grab my leg and just give it all I got. So I did that. I think how many times? It wasn't even for a long time. Then the baby was right there, and I felt it, like the head just engaged down there, and I was like, oh my days. Then she's like, do you wanna feel the head? I'm like, yeah. So I felt it. I'm like, oh my god. It's just an unreal feeling. You don't even understand. Like, it's so unreal. So obviously then I pushed again. Then obviously the baby came, and my friend said that because she saw everything, then everything just follows, right? And then when he came, he also had his eyes opened like his sister. And when he came, he was crying, but you couldn't hear his voice. So they had to remove certain stuff, or whatever. They said maybe it was liquid, I don't know. And then they had to be tapping him. You know, when something is going wrong, they don't tell you. But I knew. I was like, God, no, please. We didn't come this far for this child not to make it. I was nearly not making it in labor. What's going on? So she took him, put him on some lights, and was tapping him. Then his voice came. I could hear his voice crying. I'm like, ooh, this one cries more than his sister. Yeah. And then still they said his heart rate was high or whatever. So I was like, can I do skin to skin with him? And then they were like, okay. So the lady gave me him. I put him on my chest, and then he stayed there. He was so happy. He calmed down. Then immediately, not long after that, he looked for the breast and started drinking milk. Yeah, so he was on my chest for a long time. We did skin to skin for a long time. So yeah, so he came like around exactly 11:46 a.m. Yeah, so we did skin to skin. And then when he came, obviously we called my husband, and got to see him, and he was so happy. And I was just like, whew, I was just tired. And then when they took him back to weigh him and everything, they were like, wow, his heart rate has gone down. Wow, that skin to skin really did it. I'm like, I was telling you, give me my baby. So everything went down, because obviously it's like, this is my mom in it, yeah. So and then he did the meconium when he was on my chest because he had just drunk milk. Yeah, and then he weighed like 3.31 kg, which is 7 pounds 28 something. His sister was like 6 pounds 48, so 6 pounds 5. He's like 7 pounds, so that's why he felt so big. Therefore he was gonna be a huge baby, but I think I'm just a small person. It was so heavy for me. When he came out, I was like, he's so tiny. He's just long. His legs are long. He's a tall baby, and obviously he had plenty of hair on him. And sorry guys, I couldn't record. I couldn't even call my husband. They said no because obviously anything can go wrong, and I understand, but I wanted at least to call my husband so he can see. But we were allowed to call him immediately after, while they were still sorting me out. So then after that, I pushed the placenta out, and then I had teared only a little bit, so I just needed a little bit of stitches. And then yeah, this time around my belly was a bit massive because with him I was eating more. So they gave me the drip because I was bleeding. My friend said they had to take a bucket and blood was just gushing like water, and I did that with my daughter as well. I was bleeding a lot after that, so I had to be given iron tablets after that. Thank God I didn't need to have a blood transfusion. And then yeah, and then they were like, oh, you can ask your husband and your daughter to come. So they came. We stayed together for quite a long time. My daughter, when she first saw her brother, she didn't know how to act. But a little while after that, she was alright and she loves him. Like, they're like the best of friends. I thought she was going to be jealous, but no, not at all. So then I was in hospital. I stayed in hospital only for one night. I gave birth on Monday. Then no Monday. I gave birth on Tuesday the 18th, and then I was out of the hospital the next day. So it wasn't actually long. And with him, one thing I ask God for is that I want to heal quickly because I have a toddler. Because with my daughter it took time, so with him I healed much more quickly, like within 3 weeks, even before 3 weeks. Like when we came home, because it was the next week was Christmas, we went last minute shopping for Christmas for food, and I went with my husband and he was still so tiny, so I healed much quicker with him. And now it's like, this is it's been like 8 weeks now. He's nearly 9 weeks old. Yeah, he's had his injections now. Yeah, maybe another video in the circumcision, so we'll talk about that in another video. Yeah, but he's just the cutest, and my labor was really supernatural. I believe God really came through for me. I could have died in that labor. I understand how people can just die, but I didn't die. My husband was at home praying throughout, and my daughter was just at home. My husband said she just was requesting for a song by Ada called You Are Able. So I'm like, everything was just so supernatural, and I didn't feel no pain. Even after that, the after pains I felt, it wasn't, I don't know, it's something you can handle. It's like if you're having period pain, you can handle it. So I really believe that God gave me a supernatural labor, and I was able to be on my feet much quicker than I thought. So it was a beautiful experience. Yeah. So but for now I am done. Yeah. And anyways, his name, should I do another video when he's around, when I show you guys? Yeah, and then I'll reveal his name then. But I think by now most of you, if you follow our ministry page, so we have started a ministry. Yeah, I think I said it before. The ministry is called Heavenly Jerusalem Ministry. We go live on Facebook every Saturday and Tuesdays. I think in one of them my husband said his name already, so if you follow that then you already know. But if you don't, then yeah, follow. And also I'll do a video when I bring him on here, and then I'll reveal his name, like a name reveal video. This one was just my labor and delivery story. So yeah guys, this is, oh yeah, and the funny thing here, they are just like twins. When he came out, he looked exactly like his dad. When she came out, she looked exactly like the dad, and they had their eyes opened. And They were born on the same day, different years, but same day. They were both born on the 18th of November, and I was induced on the 17th. That's just, it's not a coincidence, and they just blessed children. So yes, guys, I don't know if I missed anything. If you want to know more whatever I missed, then holla. But yeah, that's my labor and delivery story. So God bless you. Sorry there's not gonna be no footage because we're not allowed. God bless you. Bye.